Oh.
De Castro
Greg Hardy's, Greg Hardy's swinging wild. So De Castro is really going for it. He knows he wants to back down Hardy.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying is De Castro is still a really hard hitter. He has a lot of knockouts. So if you look at his win percentage and like the knockout, so he has 100% win percentage, but the knockout rate is tremendous for the UFC.
Now Hardy kind of has an interesting, unique stance. So he's always kind of like hunched over like that.
Yeah, I think it's because he's so tall. I think he's 6'5" or something like that. And
it is worrisome though, if like he does leave him a little bit more exposed.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's got his chin forward a little bit more, right, than we see a lot of our other fighters. So
let's see here. I think though, if Hardy has a bigger motor on him, so if you let De Castro punch himself out like this, then that's going to work in your advantage as this fight kind of goes on. He's going to wear himself down.
Yep. And he's been swinging hard. He's been swinging for the fences. Like every shot that he's throwing, whether it's a kick, just like there, right? He just threw a leg kick, or a punch. He's doing it at his hardest, and you can do that for the first round, but as you get into the second and into the third, it becomes a lot harder.
Yeah. Like I said, so Hardy's kind of taking the same approach he did in his last fight. He's kind of letting De Castro come to him, which goes against what he was doing when he was first earning his UFC contract.
Yep.
In those fights, he was definitely the one applying the heat, applying the pressure. Here he goes a little bit now, starting to get a little bit of action in. Let's see here. I think he's just, like I said, just waiting for De Castro to wear himself down and went picking his spot here.
Yeah, and I think we can already start to see De Castro slowing. So his swings, they don't have as much pop to them, right? He even landed a leg kick recently. Doesn't have the same pop that it once did when he first started coming out.
Yeah. Hardy's definitely going to have more energy as this goes on because he has expended less.
Yep. Exactly. And the thing is, right, on the judges' scorecards, I would say De Castro is probably winning right now, just this round. But we'll see how long that lasts, right? As we're getting in. So now we're about halfway through that first round. We might see De Castro start to taper off. He's going to start to fall backwards a little bit as far as conditioning and energy-wise, just because he's been swinging so hard at everything.
Now, I know myself. I'm going to deduct points for Hardy on that unfinished tattoo on his back. I don't know if quarantine happened right when he was finishing that tattoo and didn't get a chance to get it finished up. But it is kind of an eyesore whenever he turns.
Yeah, I know. It is a little bit bad. You would think these guys have enough money, though, that they could pay their tattoo artist.
Take a private one, get a private barber and all that stuff.
I definitely need one, so get some clippers.
Fortunate enough, I actually managed to get a haircut here.
Yeah, I see. You are one of the few lucky ones. I
know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a girl who does great hair.
Yeah, those back alley haircuts. that's what I need.
Front porch haircut, actually,
So, I think this is a good fight so far. It's going pretty much how I thought it would. They're all
methodical.
They're all standing on the feet. I do think De Castro is winning this round, though, just from throwing bigger punches, or I guess bigger strikes in general, and he's landed a few more.
He's taking more shots, but, let's see here. I'm interested to see if Hardy can – Hardy's digging in now.
Head movement, too.
Hardy's digging in. He has it backed up against the cage. Watch out, watch out.
Yeah, what I really like in these exchanges is Hardy's head is moving back and forth. So he gets in range, throws that strike, then he gets out of range really, really quickly. And De Castro missed all of those counter shots that he was trying to throw.
Here's the interesting thing I'm wondering for Hardy is where he's going to take that next step as a fighter. Where he's going to add in some submissions, some grappling. Because obviously, when you look at that heavyweight division, Brock Lesnar had an advantage when he was coming in that he was a former All-American wrestler himself, an All-American collegiate wrestler. Well, Hardy doesn't have that. Hardy, just like I said, he's a straight brawler. He's a physical guy. Comes from, kind of a rough upbringing, and he's bringing that to the octagon here. Taking out all that aggression.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very good question. And honestly, ground fighting is so difficult to learn, especially as you get older, that it may never come, right? And if we look at Holly Holm, that's always been where her sort of flaws were. And honestly, if Ronda Rousey had been able to maybe attach and throw her like she did with everybody else, Holly may have lost that fight. But Holly's just been so good on feet. That's where she wins most of her matches.
Yeah.
But when she made that transition to MMA, it's just so much harder to.
Exactly. Brock did the reverse. He had to add the striking, and for a guy that big, a guy as athletic as Brock, his striking kind of comes natural to him. And when he strikes, it hurts. It's a vicious one. I've actually saw him whenever he messes around in the WWE. He actually brings some real shots in, man. I tell you.
Yeah, and it would hurt. And that's the thing is, it's so much easier to learn how to throw a correct punch than it is to learn how to move your hips and throw a correct armbar. Like that, they're a world of different, and it's way more difficult to learn how to move on the ground than it is to learn like how to throw a punch.
But that's the thing. Hardy needs to learn that skill set. And if he wants to advance, if he wants to take home some gold, it needs to happen because. Let's face it. You look what it did in Brock in his UFC debut. Frank Mir caught him in a football. So
yeah, and that's the thing with Hardy too is like he's so big that if he can get somebody to the ground and stay out of submissions, he can end a fight. Looks like Hardy. Okay, he was babying that lead leg a little bit, so I think that De Castro is doing some damage with those leg kicks.
I'm impressed that he does have some kicks to his game, though. He did rely on some front kick combos after landing some punches.
Yep.
So he does have like a basic skill set that he's starting to work on. Like it used to just be straight punt.
Yeah.
Now he's mixing in some kicks, some front kicks, some low kicks.
Yep. Yeah, he threw a roundhouse to the head. It didn't land, but that's pretty impressive for a big guy.
Absolutely.
6'5", and
the thing about heavyweight, it only takes one hit.
Yep.
So let's see here.
Yeah. De Castro's doing a really good job. I'm really impressed with De Castro right now, but I'm impressed with Hardy too. Like I said, those exchanges with his head movement were almost flawless on his part. He didn't get clipped at all, but he was able to get in and strike. So
now, when they've been in close quarters, I think the advantages have gone to Hardy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But when you've had distance, if he needs to back him up, because that was working in the first round, I think if he could get him into one of these corners here, he could potentially end him.
Yep. Yeah. Hardy's left leg is pretty beat up right now. You just heard Joe Rogan talking about it, but you could see that swelling. It's all red and puffed up.
Look at his leg, bro.
His leg.
Look at his leg. If you don't know what that is, we're making fun of you, Israel Adesanya.
Yeah. There was actually one fight early 2000s. I remember it was one of my first UFC fights that I was watching, or at least in the dozens that I watched early on. And Joe Rogan, for some reason, the only his favorite word of the night was legs. So everything would be like, look at the legs. He was talking about GSP in one of them. Yeah. GSP is a freak of nature and has huge legs. And he'd be like, look at GSP's legs. And then there'd be leg kicks. And he'd be like, look at that leg. That leg's all beat up. So he said leg probably 1,000 times in that night.
In fairness, here we're doing live commentary. I could understand it. You get locked on one thing in your mind and just a leg, Kyle Juszczyk.
Yep.
Booker McFarland, you're getting made fun of now too.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to I guess sort of add some analysis to that leg, that could be really detrimental, right? It's his lead leg, so it's going to be a little bit harder to move. It's more exposed as well to those leg kicks, and so we're seeing Hardy sort of baby it a little bit more so he can move it out.
This has been a more plodding round too. You talked about head movement. That was pretty nice, too. Hardy just evaded 2 quick strikes to the head.
Mm-hmm.
So good job on him for doing that, despite the injury to his lower half.
Yep.
Okay. Quick sweep. Okay.
Yeah. I really am impressed with Hardy's head movement. I think he leaves his hands still a little bit too low for my liking, but he makes it work for him, though.
If he does face a more athletic big man that can throw in a head kick, that could be a problem.
It could be a major issue, but he's able to move his head so quickly. I'm really, really impressed with him.
Okay. Hard kick.
Yep. Good combination. So he threw right leg kick and then followed back up with sort of a jab.
So he's going for broke there, I feel like with that contusion to his leg, though, it does kind of give away those kicks, those big roundhouse kicks that he's going for.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you don't want to kind of give that away.
Yeah. And I will say a leg kick, if you've never experienced it, it is one of the worst pains. It's a weird thing, right? Like your liver shot will hurt. If you get hit in the body, like, yes, that's going to suck. When you get like punched, knockouts from what I understand, and I've been like dazed in times that I've done sparring. I've never been like fully knocked out, but I hear that one actually doesn't hurt. It's sort of just the light goes off and then you wake up and you're like, what happened? And it's sad, right? And you're disappointed or whatever. And you like emotionally it hurts, but physically those leg kicks are they suck. And they last a long time because you got to walk around on it, right? Like if you get hit to the liver, it sucks that night. You wake up and you're fine as long as it's not lacerated, right, from like a heavy kick. But your legs, they will stay bruised for weeks on end, and you got to move around on them.
Well, listen, I get it. One of my buddies, right, was taking home from the bar, right, and he was like, "No, you can't drive," and no, I was completely dead. So right, so he kicks me in the fucking leg, the fucking asshole. As I'm trying to give him a ride home because he's a drunk ass.
Yeah. Just loads up and whack.
Get in the damn car, Landon. Get in the car. I don't care. I'm going to call name drops here.
Yeah.
Landon.
We're calling you out.
I'm calling you out, man. You gotta respect your sober drivers and not try and severely damage their lower half. So I will say that was a pretty firm leg strike, and honestly, if you were potentially interested in a fighting career, you do have an option there. Some drunken boxing.
Yeah. All right, Landon. So we're hoping to see you here at the UFC here pretty soon.
Exactly. Not with these big boys.
Not with these guys. So round 2 has officially ended. They're icing down that leg, especially of Greg Hardy. It's funny that they mixed up the names. So they got Jeremy Steven and Calvin Kattar. So they're one fight a little bit too early.
And a few different shades of pigment and a couple weight class difference.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Get it together, ESPN Plus. Come on.
I know.
What is Dre paying for?
Exactly. I'm paying $65 for this. So real quickly, who do you think won that second round?
I mean, Hardy did get in some decent combinations in there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you definitely know that De Castro didn't land as many significant blows as he did in that first one. Yep. So I'm going to give that one to Hardy. So I'm going to go split right now.
Yep. I'm 100% in agreement with you. I thought Hardy pushed the pace more the last one.
Oh, now he really pushing the pace.
Yeah, he's pushing the pace in this one. So I'm going to say it's 1-1. De Castro won the first one. And Hardy right now is doing a good job, but De Castro is sort of getting upset, right? He's starting to throw it back now.
Well, more sporadic movement, more head movement going on by Hardy. He's definitely coming into this round pissed, and he wants this victory. So he's going to try and leave no dispute when the judges try and get this, because I'm not feeling this will go to knockout at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so, right? Like there could be just one of those late things where I shouldn't say you forget to block, you just don't react or whatever. And that could potentially be the knockout. But it doesn't look like it's going that way. We haven't seen anybody eat too big of a shot just yet.
Not yet. But let's see here. As we move into the final 4 minutes of this match, I'm going to be intrigued to see what they do.
Mm-hmm. Hardy really should start learning some takedowns. Like with how athletic he is and playing in the NFL, if he learned like just a good blast double, like I'm not talking about, single legs and knee picks or any of that, like just a blast double.
Well, you would think that skill set actually would transfer over, the idea behind form tackling.
Yeah, it's very similar, right? Like you're getting your hips in, you're wrapping up. I think he would be fantastic if he learned some double legs.
Now, this man had double-digit sacks in the NFL in his rookie year, so he's no joke.
Yeah, and a lot of it, like your head position is very similar on a tackle, right? Like you're making sure you're not injuring your neck. Same thing on double leg takedowns. Like there's times where you put your head right in the middle on a double leg takedown if you're just blasting through, or you might put it to the outside so you can lift. I think Hardy would do a fantastic job learning a few takedowns.
Exactly. He could take him out and just straight spear people.
Yeah. And then just start going to work on top. Now, we talked about how you get locked on a subject. Yeah, there's 3 minutes left. Hardy did eat another pretty big leg kick. He's got to start learning how to check those because that's going to hurt tomorrow.
For sure. And, I would hate to see this match decided on the leg kicks.
I know. Yeah. And it looks like it's slowed Hardy down a little bit. He's still pushing the pace, I think, a little bit more than De Castro is at this moment.
Well, he's only got 2.5 minutes, so we got to start seeing some work here. Okay, a little bit of an interaction in the center of the octagon.
Yep, in and out. Again, Hardy has that great head movement.
Get him
right there.
Get him jumping.
He's got to watch the up kick, though. I think
fair enough. You want to, if you are an inexperienced grappler, like Hardy is, though I don't know what these like little gut slaps are doing for him.
I know. I think it's actually more dangerous for where Hardy is right now because he's sort of hunched over in that stance, and he does leave his head open a little bit more for up kicks. Now, De Castro is kind of chubby for the weight class, so I don't know how much power he can really get in that up kick, and because it does take a lot of like ab and core strength to throw a really good up kick.
Now you see, for people that aren't like avid UFC fans or MMA fans, if they were watching this out of context, De Castro laying on his back while Hardy just kind of circles around him might look a little bit strange to some.
Yeah, exactly.
As these are both sweaty men.
Yeah, I'm sure you can make a weird Pornhub caption out of it.
Oh, just put Brazzers right there in the bottom half.
Exactly.
And you're good to go. This is going to be one of those awesome memes that we always drop at the Slumpbuster.
Exactly. 6'5" black man prepares to mount other smaller ebony person.
Ebony. Is that the go-to category?
That's the go-to category.
All right, we're down here to the final minute here. This round has been kind of slow pace. No one has really landed too much significant. There was the interactions in the first 30 seconds, but since then the pace has slowed severely. Obviously, De Castro had that slip. You wouldn't consider it a knockdown or a takedown. It was just a slip. And Hardy didn't know what to do with guard. So, again, we talked about him adding an extra element to his game, adding some new tools. That's one that he needs to look in because when he is in that position, when you have your opponent on the ground, you need to know what to do.
Exactly. And you have such an advantage if you're the person on top, at least in MMA, right? In jiu-jitsu, you can argue that sometimes guard is better. But when you're on top in MMA, you can rain down some hard punches. And with how tall he is, he can posture up really well and rain some really, really hard punches.
If there's a man you don't want ground and pounding you, I would say Greg Hardy would be in the top 10.
Exactly. He learns how to throw some elbows, some punches from up top, hammer fist.
All right, so 3 rounds. This is going to decision. God, it's going to be a close one. Based off the leg strikes and everything, they might give it to De Castro.
You think so? You think? Look at his leg. Look at his leg. No, I'm going to go with Hardy on this one. So I think Hardy won rounds 2 and 3. De Castro, without a doubt, in my mind, won round 1. But we'll see.
Let's see. I mean, there was that first 30 seconds where you could argue of who got the advantage. If they wanted to deduct anything for like the slip.
Yeah, I think slips definitely should not count. Like had it been an actual takedown, even like a knee pick, right? So had like Hardy just blocked the leg and pushed him over.
Yeah,
I would say that counts as a takedown. But here it was just a slip, and Hardy didn't use it much, right? So
okay, so it shows some positive stuff for Hardy right here.
Yep, really good head movement. Like I said, that's what I've been most impressed with Hardy is his ability to get in and out of striking range.
Well, the cool thing about Hardy, he has shown a quick ability to turn around, in his fights.
All right, here is the official decision.
All digital mortgage. Visit rate.com now. Bruce Buffer to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Greg.
Wow.
Going to Greg Hardy, so he is now moves on to 6-2 in his MMA career. Let's see here what Joe has to say.
He made some adjustments, some big adjustments. Seems like early on in the fight, he was catching you with a lot of those heavy leg kicks. How much did that affect your movement?
Big time, man. Thank God for out in the crowd. Shout out to DC. I heard him tell me to go check it. He didn't figure out how to check it. So
gotta learn how to check.
You have had a wild ride. In 2 years, you've gone from a guy who has his first MMA fight to a guy who's fighting guys like Volkov, who's a world champion in other divisions. What has this been like for you, and how do you feel about this victory?
Like going to Disney World, man. It's been a roller coaster like none other, man.
Don't think you can right now, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Not allowed.
Congratulations to you, sir. Look forward to seeing you again. Greg Hardy, ladies and gentlemen.